What a year 2018 has been for kit, and it's certainly been a year for me going to launches. I've been on a lot of trips this year, but by far the highlight was seeing the new Canyon Grail. It is, as you all know by now, insane. It's this crazy double-decker handlebarred gravel bike, and it completely shook up the cycling world, with the comments almost as interesting as the bike itself. To be totally honest, I have only ridden the bike at the launch itself, but watching the reaction of the public and the industry as a whole was genuinely interesting, and I'm hoping that in 2019 we're going to see more brands coming out with similarly wacky ideas, because in my eyes the industry needs more daft ideas like this.
The piece of bike tech I enjoyed using most in 2018 was actually SRAM E-Tap. It's not new, but I hadn't used it before. I'm well used to Shimano Di2, really like that. E-Tap, is it better? I'm not sure, but it's really good. It's certainly intuitive, easy to use, and I really like the fact you can swap those batteries around when you forget to charge at least one of them. So you're never stuck out in the middle of nowhere with just a single speed or anything like that. Really like it.
This year, one of the most reliable bits of kit that I've ridden is 3T's Tourneau Limited crankset. It's a super lightweight, super aero, super narrow Q factor carbon crankset. Thankfully, I haven't dropped a chain, and this is me riding it at Gritfest, Grinduro, Paris-Roubaix, a bunch of other stuff. It's a very solid bit of kit, it's durable, it's lovely to ride, it feels great when you're turning over a big gear. Only downside is that price tag, but if you want performance, this is a great product.
During the winter, I do a lot of cycling early in the morning when it's very cold, so I need some really warm bib tights to keep me warm on those cold mornings. Sportful's Total Comfort bib tights, which I've had for the winter of 2017 and now the winter of 2018, have kept me really warm and cozy throughout. The pad's fairly thick, so it's quite comfortable. The straps are nice and wide, and yeah, they're kind of an item of clothing you put on, forget about it, and they're just doing the job. So I really like those.
This year I spent a lot of time with a Specialized Tomic Pro, which is an incredibly nice bike with Ultegra Di2 and rim brakes, which are still cool. I think there's something quite perverse about spending over £5,000 on a bike with rim brakes in this day and age, but there you go. And if you want a similar bike, next year's Tarmac Expert is very similar but has mechanical Ultegra. The Tarmac won my heart because, as well as being incredibly beautiful, it was also an absolute delight to ride.
One of the things that's really impacted my road riding this year is the Specialized Power Expert. It's nothing new, we all love it, lots of people evangelise it. I've done thousands of miles on this saddle, and touch wood, I haven't had a saddle sore yet. So while it's nothing new, it stands out time and again for me, and it deserves all the praise it gets.
With Bike of the Year 2019 rapidly approaching, I'm spending a lot of time out riding in all weather conditions at the moment, including when it's wet, rainy and miserable. One product that's made a big difference to my comfort when doing so are the Rapha Souplesse Shadow bib tights. Rapha have had the Shadow range for a few years now, but this is the first time they've produced women's specific garments. They're comfortable, they stretch like regular bib tights, and they noticeably keep the rain off. They're not fully waterproof, but you can definitely notice the difference when you go out for a ride in the rain. You don't get anything like as wet.
On the other end of the spectrum, something pretty boring was one of my highlights for the year, and that was Brunier's base layers. They're these polyester, totally non-absorbent, really creepy string vests, totally like the ones that you see my fellow countryman Rabsy Nesbitt in, and they are phenomenal. I have not been on a ride, I think, this year without one on. As they are totally non-absorbent, they keep you lovely and dry, they keep you lovely and warm, and they work well throughout all conditions. And I loved it so much I actually gave it 5 stars on BikeRadar, and I think is the best base layer you can get on the market today. Put it this way, I'm in a studio now, I'm talking about my highlights of the year, and I've just told you about a base layer, and that alone should tell you how much I love it.
The new Specialized S-Works Avenger was launched this summer, and I got to ride it back in November for the first time in California. Immediately, first impressions were that it's seriously quick, super stiff, but at the same time really comfortable. Could be the best bike I've ever ridden. Specialized, if you're listening, I'd love to get one back and ride it for a bit longer this time.
This year, my favourite road riding product has been Gore's Shake Dry jacket. It's absolutely incredible. It keeps you so unbelievably dry when it's pissing with rain and you're out on your bike. It's not very common for tech editors or tech journalists to buy their own products, but I thought this Gore Shake Dry jacket was so good I spent my own money on it.
This year I went big during hill climb season. I had a super lightweight bike, about 5.4 kilos in the end, but one product on it really stood out, and that's Gelu's K3 saddle. It might be Gelu, it might be Gelu, still not sure, so I do apologise, but the K3 saddle is a 38 gram, fully carbon, no padded saddle. On the surface, no pun intended, it looks like it would be very uncomfortable, but it's the complete opposite, and it's probably one of the most comfortable saddles I've ever ridden. The only thing I'm not comfortable with is that price tag of 500 euros, but performance is absolutely there for this product, and it is the lightest saddle in the world.